It's a pleasure once again to welcome you all to this course on inferential discrete mathematics. The last lecture we had a look at how to find the reflexive and symmetric closure for a given relation. I'll just give you a recap and we'll move further to what is called as a transitive closure. The reflexive closure, the definition of which is on your screen, is another relation R dash which satisfies two conditions. Number one, it should also be reflexive, and number two, it is the smallest relation that contains the actual relation R. Similarly, a symmetric closure is also a relation defined on the same set which satisfies two conditions. It is also symmetric, and number two, it is the smallest relation that contains the given relation R. Proceeding further, the transitive closure is also defined in the same manner. It is another extra relation defined on the set, which is number one, a transitive relation, and number two, the smallest relation that contains the given R. But the difference is, determining the transitive closure is not as simple a task as it was for determining the reflexive and the symmetric closures. As an example, I would like you to have concentration on this problem where I have defined a relation. This relation is not reflexive, you can see that, because you don't have the pairs 1 1 and 2 2. So the reflexive closure R2 dash is nothing but R2, and you will just have to append the ordered pairs 1 1 and 2 2 to it. That will make it reflexive, and that will also be the smallest such relation which contains R2. Therefore, that is your reflexive closure. Similarly, you can also define the symmetric closure for this. As a matter of fact, R2 is already symmetric because 0 2 has its pair in 2 0, 2 3 has its pair in 3 2. There is no pair AB for which the symmetric pair is missing. Therefore, R2 is already symmetric, so R2 double dash is still R2. However, determining the transitive closure is not as easy as it seems for the reflexive and the symmetric closures, because if you can recall, a transitive relation demands the presence of an ordered pair A comma C whenever you have the ordered pairs AB and BC. So verifying this presence for any pair of ordered pairs given in the relation, there are 6 pairs given here, out of which you can generate 15 pairs of the form AB comma BC, and then verifying all of this for all these pairs is not an easy task. That is why we have a simple procedure to determine the transitive closure of a given relation. More about that on the next screen. The transitive closure is actually found by the union of all relations as given in the screen. For R, you will generate R square, which is the composition of R on itself, R cube, the composition of R square on R, so on and so forth till you reach R raised to n, which is the nth order composition of R on itself. You do the union of all this, that is your transitive closure. However, determining all such relations is not an easy task. This can also be done by generating the matrices and doing a Boolean addition among these, but that is again another meticulous task for you to complete, which is why we have a very simple algorithm for you to generate the transitive closure for any given relation on a non-empty set. That algorithm is what you know by the name as Warshall's algorithm. It involves only 2 steps which have to be performed across each column of the matrix that represents the given relation. So those 2 rules are on your screen. Any element in the matrix remains a 1 if it is already a 1. So unless it is a 0, you don't disturb it. If it is already a 1, you leave it undisturbed. So you make corrections only when there are zeros. You try and make the zeros to ones, because we know that if AB and BC are part of the relation, so will have to be AC. So a 0 should somewhere be made as a 1, but which 0? That is what the algorithm defines in the step 2. It says in R the ith row and jth column entries of a given matrix can be a 1 only if it was already a 1 in the previous iteration, or when you have ik and kj, that is row index I and column index k of one matrix and row index k and column index j of the same matrix. Only if both these are 1, we will have a situation where row index I and column index j become a 1. So a number which was already a 0 transforms into a 1 only when this condition given here is satisfied. That is what we have under the Warshall's algorithm, and I will discuss a few problems on Warshall's algorithm to make the idea more clear. So on your screens is a very simple relation defined on a set containing 4 elements 1, 2, 3 and 4. The relation has 4 ordered pairs, which means the matrix will have 4 ones and 12 zeros. You can identify them. Suppose I give the row and column indices as 1, 2, 3 and 4, then you can fill up the matrix yourself. By now you have got yourself familiar with how to fill up matrices. This should not be difficult. So we have 1, 2 as an ordered pair, therefore row index 1 and column index 2 is a 1. No other element in the first row is a 1 because 1 is not paired up with any other element. We have 2, 4, which means row number 2 column number 4 is 1. There is no pair that starts with a 3, therefore the third row is full of zeros, and the last row has 2 1s in it because you have a 4 1 and also you have a 4 3. So row 4 column 1 and row 4 column 3 are 1s. Now let us try and execute the Warshall's algorithm and see if we can generate the transitive closure here. So the algorithm works column wise. So you do the iterative procedure comparing the first row and first column, and then the second row and second column, and then the third row and third column, and then the fourth row and fourth column. You go column wise and row wise. So we will start with the first row and first column. Let us write down all elements which are actually 1s, because if they are already zeros you cannot use the algorithm to make a change. So we will note only those elements which are already 1s. Now look at row number 1 and column number 1. You have 2 entries which are 1s. The 2 entries are in the first row, that is if I denote the entry as A I j, I have the first row second column as a 1 and the fourth row first column as a 1. Now remember, the algorithm says A I j is 1 if and only if A I k and A k j are together 1. So we are doing it iteration wise, and looking at the first iteration we will fix the value of k as 1. So you will have to find a combination such that A I1 and A1k are 1s together, and that is actually observed because you have A41 to be 1 and you have A12 to be 1. You do not have any other combination. You cannot compare A24 here or A43 here. Your comparison should involve the index of the iteration which is 1. So A41 and A12 are 1s, and comparing them will lead us to a new result that A42 is also now a 1. A42 must become a 1 in the next iteration. So we cannot make any other change to the given matrix because you cannot compare. There are only two elements for comparison here. No other elements can be compared. So we cannot explore any other possibilities of turning a 0 into a 1. So when we write down the matrix, you will have to make only one change. We will retain whatever was 1 already, will not disturb them. So these 4 were the ones that were already present. Now we'll introduce the newly formed 1 as a result of Warshall's algorithm. Therefore you have a 1 in the 4th row. No other change is made to the matrix. It is still the same in the remaining entries. Only in the entry on the 4th row and 2nd column do we make a change, and this change is made about because you have an element such that 4, 1 and 1, 2 are pairs. Therefore you must have a pair on 4, 2. Only then you will call the relation as a transitive relation, and therefore we have made this change to the 4th row and 2nd column of the matrix. There's only one change now. Now moving further, we'll execute the algorithm comparing the 2nd row and 2nd column. That is on your screens. Now you have 3 ones which will bring about a change to the answer. That's on the next screen. You have 3 ones comparing the 2nd row and 2nd column. There are 3 ones present in the matrix in the highlighted region, and we'll first write down what they are. You have 1 entry in the 2nd row and 4th column, and you have 2 entries in the 2nd column which are A12 and A42. Now once again recall Warshall's algorithm. Aij is 1 only if you have Aik and Akj is 1, where k represents the index of the iteration. Now you will see that you can pair up A12 and A24 because 2 is the index of iteration. You have A12 equaling A24 equaling 1. So you can compare and pair up the other indices and therefore get A14 also to be 1. We have made one change to the matrix. The entry in the 4th column of the 1st row is now a 1. You can also make one more correction when you compare A42 and A24. Both are 1s. And you see that it satisfies the condition given here. Aik and Akj are 1. Therefore you can make A44 also to be 1. I brought about 2 changes this time. The first change is brought about because you have a pair 1 2 and you have a pair 2 4. Therefore you must have a pair 1 4 to make it transitive. That is what this 1 implies. And you have a pair 4 2 and you have a pair 2 4, which means you must have a pair 4 4. Therefore A44 is also 1. That is what is represented by this. So in the matrix that we are going to start for the next iteration, we will make 2 changes, one in the 1st row 4th column and the other in the 4th row 4th column. So the entire last row is going to be full of 1s, 3rd row is full of 0s still, 2nd row has only 1 1 and the 1st row has 2 1s. Now with this we can move to the 3rd iteration where we will compare the 3rd row and 3rd column. That's on your screen. The 3rd row and 3rd column ought to be compared now. But the difference this time around is there is no element which is a 1 in the 3rd row. There is no element which is a 1. A4 3 is a 1, but it cannot be paired up with any other element in the 3rd row. So you have only one number, so there is no change here. You cannot make any change. You retain the same matrix when you go to the next iteration comparing the 4th row and 4th column. Now you have a lot of entries that are 1s. The entire 4th row is a 1. The entire 4th column is a 1 except for one entry. Let's write that down. A14, A24 and A44, all these three are ones. They can be paired up with A41, A42, A43, A44. Now let us compare all the elements here with the first element. A14 and A41 are ones. By the algorithm, this will mean A1 is also a 1. A14 and A43 are ones. By the algorithm, A13 also is also 1. A24 and A41 are ones. Therefore, A21 is 1, A22 is 1, A23 is 1, because you can compare with A42, A43, etc. But you can't make any more changes because there are no entries that begin with A34 or A33 or A32 or A31. All of these entries are zeros. So we will be making only these 5 changes to the matrix. Therefore, when we write down the matrix, let us write down what was already part of the matrix without disturbing any ones which were already ones. Now we are free to highlight whatever change we have made. A11 is 1, A13 is 1, 21, 22, 23, all of them are ones, and the third row is still unaltered. Third row is still unaltered. So that is what will represent the transitive closure of the given relation. Now you pick any pair AB and BC, you will always find the related pair AC in the matrix. That leads us to the required answer. The first 2 rows are full of ones, the last row is full of ones, only the third row is full of zeros. So that is what we have as the transitive closure. So if you write down the transitive closure, the set of ordered pairs that we will be including are 1 1, 1 2, 1 3, 1 4. Similarly with 2 1, 2 2, 2 3, 2 4. No pair starts with 3. So 4 1, 4 2, 4 3 and 4 4. There will be 12 ordered pairs, and this relation is transitive. This relation is the smallest relation that will contain the given relation, and that is how we have determined its transitive closure. We will discuss one more problem for you to get more familiar with the idea. The next relation takes care of 5 ordered pairs: 1 2, 2 1, 2 3, 3 4 and 4 1. We will run the algorithm comparing the first row and first column. Now you will see that there are 3 entries which are ones, and you will compare them with the only one entry in the first row. A21 and A12 are ones. So combining these two, you will have A22 to be 1. A41 and A12 are ones, which means you will combine these two and get A42 also to be 1. You can't make any more comparisons because we are doing the Warshall's algorithm comparisons where the column and the row should match. The column index of the first entry, the row index of the second entry should be both ones in the first iteration, and this is all that you can do. So when you generate the matrix of the given relation, you will have to make only 2 changes, one here and the other here, and that is what we have in the next figure. We made only 2 changes in the second column, nothing else has changed. We have retained all of the ones as we had before. Okay. Now moving on to the second iteration, you have too many ones to be compared. So 1 2 is 1, 2 2 is 1, 4 2 is 1, all 3 are ones. You will compare them with 2 1, 2 2 is already there, and with 2 3. You also have 2, yeah, 2 2 is already there, so that won't matter. Now moving ahead and comparing, we will compare 1 2 and 2 1. A12 is 1, A21 is 1, which will imply A11 is 1. A12 and A23 we can compare. A12 is 1, A23 is 1, therefore A13 is also 1. That's a second change. 2 2 and 2 1 you need not compare because you'll get back the same answer. 2 2 and 2 3 will also give you the same answer. Let's compare 4 2 and 2 1. 4 2 is 1, 2 1 is 1. This will imply 4 1 is 1, but it's already 1. You don't have to make this change. But 4 2 is 1 and 2 3 is 1. Now this is a change which we don't have. So A43 is 1. So we are supposed to make 3 corrections to the matrix. 1 in the first row and first column, 1 in the first row and third column, and 1 in the last row and third column. Making these changes, you will have the next matrix as given here. A43 is also 1. 4 2 and 2 3 were 1s, therefore A43 is also 1. This is a 1 here. And now when you compare, you will have the following answers. When you look at the third column, it is 1 3, 2 3, 4 3, and the row index is only at 3 4. So comparing, A14 will become a 1, A24 will become a 1, A44 will also become a 1. So 1 3 and 3 4 will give you 1 4, 2 3 and 3 4 will give you a 2 4, 4 3 and 3 4 will give you a 4 4. So there are 3 corrections, and that's what we will have in the next iteration. 1 4 is 1, 2 4 is 1, 4 4 is 1. This was already a 1. Now comparing the fourth row and fourth column, you have 1 4, 2 4, 3 4 and 4 4 to be 1s. Comparing them with 4 1, 4 2 and 4 3. Now since all of these entries in the first 2 rows and the last row are 1s, it is enough if we compare A34 with the rest. Now A34 is a 1 and A41 is a 1, therefore A31 is a 1. 34 is a 1 and 42 is a 1, therefore A32 is also a 1. The same happens with 34 and 43, therefore A33 is also a 1. So we have made corrections on all entries, therefore your transitive closure is all 16 ordered pairs. You will start with 1 1, go on till 1 4 and end up with 4 4 as the last ordered pair. All 16 pairs are to be included if you were to change this relation into a transitive relation. We will do one more interesting example on 4 elements, 1 2, 1 3, 1 4. They are represented in these. 2 3 and 2 4 are here, 3 4 are here. There are no 1s in the first column or the last row. So this forms an interesting matrix and will give us an interesting result too. We have this comparison, column number 1 and row number 1. There is nothing to compare in column number 1. You only have 1 2, 2 1, 1 2, 1 3 and 1 4. Nothing to compare, so there is no change in the first iteration. Moving ahead, you have the second iteration where you will compare. A12 is 1, you will compare that with A23 which is 1 and A24 which is 1. Combining 1 2 and 2 3, you will get 1 3 is 1, but that's already a 1 in the matrix, so there is no change to be made. Similarly 1 2 and 2 4 will give you a 1 4 which is 1, which is already a 1, there is no change. So once again you have a no change at the result of a second iteration. Going to the third iteration, you have the last iteration, you have A14, A24, A34 which are 1s, but none of the elements in the fourth row is a 1, so there is no entry such that A4I is a 1. Once again there is no change. So the given relation cannot be improved as a result of the Warshall's algorithm. So whatever you have is all that you can think of. You cannot proceed any more. You already have it as an ordered pair. 1 2 and 2 3 give you 1 4. 1 3 and 3 4 give you a 1 4. 2 3 and 3 4 give you a 2 4. It is already transitive, but you cannot improve this any further. That is what happens when you already have a transitive relation. Running it through the Warshall's algorithm leaves it unchanged at the result of all 4 iterations that you are performing. So you get back the same matrix that you started with, and that is the transitive closure. Discuss one more problem. You have 1 1 and 1 4, 2 1 2 3, 3 1 3 2 and 4 2. Too many ones to start with. We'll start at the first iteration. A1 1, A2 1, A3 1, all of these are ones. You can compare with A1 4. So 1 1 and 1 4 will mean that A1 4 is a 1, that's already a 1, so there is no change. 2 1 and 2 4 will mean that A2 4 is a 1, 2 4 is not a 1, so we'll make that change. 3 1 and 3 4 will mean that A3 4 is a 1, but that's also a 1, so that's not a change there. There's only one change that you're going to bring to effect, and that's in the second row and fourth column. Only this entry is a new one. That's what you have. For the next iteration, you will compare now the second column and the second row. So you have A32 to be 1 and A42 to be 1. It's incorrectly highlighted. It is the second row, not the third row. It's the second row. I'll just highlight it. The second row. A32 is 1. A32 is 1 and A42 is 1. And the elements in the second row are 2 1, 2 3 and 2 4. So 3 2 and 2 1 will mean that 3 1 is 1, which is already there. You don't have to change it. No change. 3 2, A32 and A24 are 1s, which means A34 is a 1, that's again a no change. But you have other changes here. A32 and A23 are 1, which will mean that A33 is a 1, that's one change for you. Now comparing the fourth row, 4 2 and 2 1 are 1s, which means A41 is a 1, that will be a change. A42 and A23 are 1s, which will mean that A43 is a 1, that is a change that you'll have to incorporate. And A42 and A24 are 1s, which will mean A44 is also a 1. There are 6 comparisons that you made, out of which only A31, there is one more, A32, yeah. There are 4 changes that you will incorporate. 2 of the 6 are already present in the matrix, so that's what you will have. You will have changes in the third row, third column, fourth row, everywhere is a 1, that's all. So that's the matrix that you have. Now let's compare the third row and the third column. All of them are 1s, I guess. That's supposed to be the answer. A13 is a 1, A13 is a 0, you don't have to worry about that. A23 is a 1, A33 is a 1, A43 is a 1, and you will have 31, 32, 33 and 34, all of which are 1s. Now comparing, you will see that A21 is a 1, that's already a 1, you don't have to change that. A22 will be a 1 when you compare both these, that will be a change you will incorporate. A23 is a 1, you have it. A24 is a 1, you already have it. You don't have to check the third row and the fourth row. So you will implement only one change in the second row and second column of the matrix. That's what you have in the last A23 and 32 is a 1. A23 is a 1 and A32 is a 1, which will mean this entry is actually a 1. And you also had in the 4th row and 4th column. Now comparing the 4th row and 4th column, you will see that A14 is a 1 and A42 is a 1, therefore A12 is a 1, A14 is a 1 and A43 is a 1, which will mean that A13 is also a 1. Those are the only zeros that you have changed them also. Therefore, the end result of the running of the Warshall's algorithm will mean that the only transitive closure is obtained when you have all 16 ordered pairs 1 1 through 4 4 included as a part of the relation. That is the matrix. You have 2 1 2 3 3 1 3 4, which will mean 2 1 2 3 3 1 3 4, and you have 4 1 and 4 3, 4 1 and 4 3. No element in the first row is a 1, no element in the second column is a 1, and that's where you start with. Now looking at the first row and the first column, there is no change that you can make. A21 is a 1, A31 is a 1, A41 is a 1, but you cannot compare with anything else, so there is no change at the end of the first relation, first iteration. Going to the second iteration, once again you have only 2 1 and 2 3 to be 1s. There is no 1 in the second column, none of them are 1s, so you cannot compare with anything of the form I2. No change again here in the second iteration. If you go to the third iteration, you will see that there are 4 1s to be compared. A23 is 1, A43 is 1, they can be compared with A31 and A34. Combining 2 3 and 3 1, you get A21 is 1, that's already a 1, so that's a no change. A23 and 3 4, you will get that A24 is a 1, so that is a change that you will make. A43 and 3 1 will mean that A41 is a 1, that's a no change again, but A43 and 3 4 are 1s, which will mean that A44 is a 1, so this element is also a 1. We made all 4 comparisons, no more changes. You have 2 changes out of the 4 possible changes. A24 is a 1 and A44 is a 1, that's what you have on the next screen. Now when you compare the 4th row and 4th column, 4 1 4 3 4 4 are 1s, 2 4 3 4 and 4 4 are 1s. So when you compare 2 4 and 4 1, there is no change, because that is going to end up with 2 1 being 1, and A2 4 and 2 3 or 4 3 are 1s, that will end up being A2 3 is a 1, that is also a no change. So no more changes in the second row. But when you compare A3 4 and 3 3, 3 4 and 4 3, you will end up getting A3 3 to be 1, so this is one entry that will change. 3 4 and 4 4 will mean 3 4, that's already a 1, 4 1 4 3 4 4 already 1, so this is the only change that you can implement in the 4th iteration, and therefore you will have this as the transitive closure. The transitive closure will include 9 ordered pairs, which are 2 1 2 3 2 4 3 1 3 3 3 4 4 1 4 3 and 4 4. It will have only 9 ordered pairs, and this is the smallest relation that will contain R, and that will also be a transitive relation. So with this we have wrapped up this set of lectures on relations which will become transitive when we apply the Warshall's algorithm. In the next class we will have a look at a set of problems where we will show that a given relation is an equivalence relation. We have had a look at a few examples where the relation is completely defined in terms of ordered pairs, and we have shown that they are equivalence relation, but not all relations are defined in terms of ordered pairs. There are certain relations which are defined in the form of a definition. We will consider those problems and we will show that some of them are also equivalence relation. We will have a look at that in the next class. Thank you.